Broomy, the F truck looks amazeballs.
So clearly the front's fallen off it, and we've actually started doing some work for once. So let's get cracking into it and have a look at what we're doing and where we're up to. We've got a whole heap of parts in. We're going to make this truck actually roadworthy, but not only that, we're going to add some guts to it as well, because the naturally aspirated 351 in it, just a little bit anemic at the moment, but it's got the cubes on its side, but it's just missing something that this channel's pretty well known for, and that is boost. So clearly the front's fallen off it. Yes, that's meant to happen. So that's all good. We've got that sorted. Engine's also out, sitting over here. We'll go through now on the process of ripping the front end off and pulling the engine out, and just having a look at the absolute crud we've had to clean up and how we've gotten to this now. So we're almost at the point now where we can get this thing running again, put the engine back in, but let's have a quick overview of how we got to here.
Whew, that was heavy. I understand why these things weigh so much. Next step, I guess, is understanding what half of these wires are for and where they go, and getting rid of the ones we don't need. We've ripped the gauges out, the head unit that wasn't even sitting in place. Look at this junk. Seriously. What's the use of that? How can you ever try and fault find or work out what the hell any of this crap is for? Fuse box is hanging there too, so all of this will have to come out and be redone, because this is just disgusting. We now have pretty much looks like the whole wiring loom that's useful here. Oh, that's not going well. That's not going well. That's not going well. As you can see, and a little bit of accident. But shit like that happens. So, too bad. Mop it up. And then, as you can see, bolts are off here. Time to rip that front end off the chassis. So get this mopped up and get onto that. That coolant colour does not look like what was actually in the radiator either, which is surprising. So what was in the radiator looked, at the top of the radiator, looked actually pretty new and green, which is why that Penrite coolant test is pretty interesting now, and why it said the coolant was so bad. Visually it looked okay in the radiator, but whoa, that tells a different story. That looks cooked. So time to pull the front end off and yank the engine and gearbox and have a look. Holy shit. That's one of the body mounts. That's seen better days. Time to get stuck into the engine and gearbox, rip that out, because you saw the coolant. I'm not sure if this engine's actually got a blown head gasket or not, so quicker we get that in out, inspect it, strip it down and paint it, put it back in, quick we can get the start on the other stuff and get this thing on the road. So let's do it. Right, so now we know we're going to take out the engine, means the exhaust has to come apart there, engine mount, stuff like that. So knowing that I'm going to take all this stuff off relatively quickly and soon, bang. Like I said before, with the frame, it's why some of these bolts have been coming off easy. Get a decent penetrating oil and just start going to town. Spray that stuff in there. It will make your job so much easier when it comes time to do it.
What's going on here today, Broomy? Pulling this nugget out?
Trying to. That's where we're at now, just trying.
Proline 481X going in now.
I thought 20B.
So you've actually pulled engine out, obviously, to start.
So we ripped the front off it, pulled the engine out. Gearbox wanted to fight us, so we leave that in there. Next step is, as you can see, it's disgusting. So degrease the whole thing, clean it all up, get it all looking nice, change every gasket on it. Clevos love to drop a head gasket when put some boost into it, so I'll probably put some multi-layer steel head gaskets in it as well, maybe some ARP head studs just to keep it safe. New clutch, because I've got no idea about this one. And then I'll paint the whole thing, paint the engine bay.
Exactly, give it a very good service and tidy up.
Yeah, as you can see, like there's layers of grease on here that is, I mean, some of this stuff's been here for
since 1960. What are you?
Decades. 76 this car was built.
76. Feels like 1960s. God, look at
look
at this.
Look at that. I mean, that's actually oil there, like thick oil too.
Oil.
So I assume that because it's all here, either the front seal out of this is leaking or the rear main is leaking. And I mean, it's a grubby old push rod V8, so it's probably the rear main. The only way to get this out now would be to drop the jack and position it almost vertically and pull it out this way.
Otherwise, the cross member's got to come out, isn't it?
Yeah, which is a total pain in the ass. I just tried to do that, and these things are somewhat easy to work on if the whole cab's not on there, but once that goes on, she ain't much fun. So I think that's about enough for today. I've been actually pretty amazed with how easy some of these bolts have been coming off. So there doesn't look like, I mean, granted half the chassis is covered in oil and grease, but it doesn't look like there's a lot of rust on this thing. So I assume this has been kept undercover or somewhere or stored pretty well over the years, because
you're expecting more bolts to be way more.
I thought I wouldn't be able to get a single
Did
bolt off.
you need much of that penetrate or no?
No. I sprayed it the night before. Like I was saying, you spray stuff the night before, spray it the night before, come out, and every bolt's just come undone, and everything's come out. And you know, I expected probably this thing to have had more hits than Elvis because it's an old car, old truck, and it's definitely would have been around. But it's been good. It hasn't really fought me at all. The only thing that fought just then was the gearbox, but so we just have to separate the gearbox from the engine to get it all out. But besides that, it's pretty good. This will probably be the easiest part. The hardest part about this whole build will end up maybe being some of this wiring, because it's an absolute disaster.
Bit of a rat's nest there.
Oh yeah, it is what it is, but it's pretty common for those cars. And then just some tidy up in the back end of the tray. But really, just want to get, this isn't going to be some kind of showstopper or something I'm actually ever going to take to a car show and show it off. Really, it's just a bit of fun.
But it's also it's got its primary purpose is to move race cars around.
Yeah, that's it. So I mean, I want it to look neat and be reliable, which is the reason all this work's going on. It's not being done to be a car that I go, wow, look at this thing. I thought the race cars to have fun and really concentrate on really high quality stuff. But this is just get it together, get it going, and then haul the race cars around and have some fun. So we'll keep on keeping on here, and hopefully we can get it to the point where we can go get it registered soon. So
awesome.
I can say goodbye to this soon.
Hang on, everyone was telling you to keep the LPG.
Sooner or later. No, I hate money, so I'm going to make sure I stay on I'm going to convert it to petrol so I can just burn dollar bills while I'm driving. I'll ditch all this and I'll probably put the fuel tech on it straight away to control ignition. In order to EFI and turbo this, I think you can get basically a plate that sits under here that has injectors sitting in it, and then you have I've got the old one off Project Redline. It's like a 90-degree elbow and then a single throttle body. So that's an easy way of converting to EFI, because really this is like a cast steel or whatever, cast iron manifold. To drill, tap and weld into this is really difficult. And if I was to buy an alloy manifold and then drill and tap that one, that's fine, but they're like $500 or something. So why spend $500 in this engine? I'll buy a whole barrel for like $80. So here's our heads. Lovely silicone there for the gasket. Not to have an overall problem with that, but you can see somewhere where I might have blown out. Interesting, double valve springs. Pretty sure that's not factory. I always thought this thing had a bit of a cam in it, had a bit of a lope in the idle, so looks like it's got some performance valve springs in here perhaps, but these heads look like they're in pretty good condition. Got to admit I don't really know what I'm looking at, but I'm going to assume they're looking pretty good condition. It doesn't look like there's any real exhaust here. You can tell that looks pretty obvious that there's been an exhaust leak there. You can see port like that looks pretty clean, but that one's got a lot of carbon escaping, so there's probably an exhaust leak there. Here's the block. All the pistons look fine. All the bores look fine. You got that bit of carbon built up on the lip there, but everything looks all good. So all these lifters look like they're in good condition. All that means is next thing, keep on degreasing, clean it all up, make it look absolutely mint, and replace all the gaskets, paint it all, and then it'll be job done. Alright, time to move on to the next one. This is too many layers of paint on that. Boom, problem solved. So it looks like here it'll start after about 15 minutes bubbling up, and then it's just a case of scraping off the years of paint. As you can see, it's getting most of it up, which is great. Alright, so we'll let this dry for about 15 minutes. See, I'm not wearing a mask or gloves or anything because safety third, but it's very, very well ventilated here and there's a pretty good breeze, so not really concerned about that. Always spray paint a well ventilated area, but it's looking a lot better than it was before. You can see it looks a little bit patchy where there is some of the previous paint there, so it's just to get it one colour and looking a little bit presentable. So a couple more coats and then some clear and whack it back in.
Okay, so that's it for this episode of Backyard Mechanics. Thanks for watching. Consider subscribing if you're not already a subscriber, and share this on all your social platforms. That'd be really great. Fantastic, helps us a lot. Now, next episode, it's time to put that Clevo back together, and also we're going to show you how to give your cylinder head a $50 Rico. And you'll see all that on the next episode, Backyard Mechanics.
And like always, support the people who support us.